Thank you for choosing Wisdom of the Dharma. If you found this video insightful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, so you never miss a new update. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful, life-changing wisdom with the world. And don't forget to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's grow and learn together. Part 1. Why some homes attract wealth and others attract suffering. Have you ever wondered, why is it that some homes seem to bless their owners? Everything flows easily, wealth increases, health thrives, relationships are warm. While other homes quietly pull people into debt, illness, arguments, and emotional darkness? Same city, same square footage, sometimes even the same design. But the results? Entirely different. The answer, as both Feng Shui and Buddhist teachings reveal, is deeper than furniture or architecture. It lies in what the ancients called the vibration of space. According to Buddhist psychology, the external world is not separate from the internal. There's a profound truth in the saying, when the mind is clear, the world becomes clear. The space around us bends to the energy within us, and we are constantly shaping that space in return. In other words, your home is not just a shelter. It's a mirror. It reflects your karma, your mental states, your desires, your fears, and in turn, it feeds those very energies back to you, day after day. Color, light, placement, and tone are not just visual details. They're energetic invitations. Each one calls in certain frequencies, welcoming joy or heaviness, clarity or confusion, abundance or stagnation. From a Buddhist lens, this interaction between mind and environment is a form of interdependent origination. Your house is not outside of you. You live inside it, but it also lives inside your consciousness. And color, perhaps more than any other design element, speaks directly to the subconscious mind. This is why, in meditation retreats, great care is taken to surround practitioners with calming, balanced colors, because too much stimulation or heaviness in the visual field will disturb even the most peaceful meditator. Now imagine what happens when the color dominating your house is subtly draining you every single day. Colors can amplify the fire of restlessness, or the dullness of apathy, or the stickiness of desire. They can even increase the weight of old karmic habits, keeping you in loops of stress, scarcity, and tension without you knowing why. So in this video, we won't just ask, what looks nice? We'll ask a deeper question, what does my home say about the state of my mind? We'll explore how color interacts with karma, consciousness, and energetic flow. Why certain homes support wealth and peace, and others attract suffering. The 7 harmful color frequencies you should avoid, backed by both Feng Shui and emotional science. The 5 harmonizing color energies that align your space with clarity, warmth, and fortune. And how to rebalance your home, even if you can't repaint, through mindful adjustments and energy awareness. But before we begin, I invite you to sit for a moment. Place your hand gently over your heart. Close your eyes. And breathe into the question, what kind of home do I truly want to create? Not just a place to sleep, but a space that supports your inner peace, your dreams, your healing, and your purpose. That's where we'll begin. Part 2. How colors shape karma. The energy blueprint in Feng Shui and Buddhist wisdom. Before we talk about which colors to use or avoid, we must first ask a deeper question. Why do colors affect our lives at all? To the untrained mind, color is just a visual phenomenon. Something the eyes perceive. A matter of taste or trend. But according to both Feng Shui and Buddhist psychology, color is much more than appearance. It is energy, and energy shapes karma. Let's go to the root. In Buddhism, we study the principle of dependent origination, or paticca samuppada. It teaches us that nothing exists independently. All things arise in dependence upon multiple causes and conditions. This applies not only to human suffering, but to our entire environment. The state of your home, your health, your finances, none of these arise randomly. They are interdependent results of your inner mental states, your past choices, and your surrounding conditions. Color is one of those powerful conditions. Why? Because color is a frequency, a vibration. Each shade emits a particular wavelength, subtle, yes, but constantly interacting with your nervous system, your emotions, and your subconscious mind. According to modern science, everything around us, walls, furniture, clothes, even our thoughts, emits vibrational energy. And according to Buddhist teachings, your mind is constantly responding to these vibrations, consciously or not. Now let's apply this to your home. Your home is not just space. It's a container of vibrational memory. Every object, every color, every layout, carries a field. And the field influences your inner world. For example, a house filled with harsh reds may agitate the mind, triggering restlessness, anger, or impulsiveness. A house soaked in dark grays or dull browns may feed lethargy, doubt, or depression. A home painted in soft golds or gentle greens may uplift the spirit, spark clarity, and foster emotional safety. This isn't just psychological, it's energetic. In Feng Shui, this concept is mapped through the 5 elements: Wu Xing, wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Each color is tied to an element, and each element corresponds to certain types of energy flow in life, growth, stability, wealth, clarity, or passion. In Buddhism, although we don't classify by elements the same way, we understand that the mind is conditioned by sense contact. What we see, we become intimate with. And what we're intimate with, we eventually absorb. This is why the Buddha recommended mindful awareness of surroundings, not just internally through meditation, but externally through ethical living, harmonious speech, and even environments that support serenity. So when we speak of color and home energy, what we're really discussing is how external vibration affects internal consciousness, and how that consciousness creates karma. A bright, clear, balanced home supports wholesome mental states. And wholesome mental states, free from greed, hatred, and delusion, create better karmic results. This is what we mean when we say, energy becomes habit. Habit becomes karma. Karma becomes life. So no, your wall color is not just decoration. It's part of the causal field of your life. In the next section, we'll explore 7 specific colors that, when misused, can disturb that field, block fortune, and create emotional and financial imbalance. But for now, take this reflection. What color dominates your home? And how do you feel when you sit with it? Calm? Inspired? Or tired and agitated? The truth is already there, waiting in the silence of your awareness. Part 3. The 7 color frequencies that block prosperity, and why they harm your mind and karma. Not all beauty is nourishing. Not all color is healing. In our spiritual journey, the spaces we inhabit quietly shape the energies we carry. From the Buddhist lens, everything we surround ourselves with is part of the interdependent web of causes and conditions, known as paticca samuppada or dependent origination. That includes the very walls we live within. In Feng Shui, color is a living force. Each hue belongs to one of the 5 elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, water, and carries a distinct energy frequency. These frequencies don't just affect the aesthetic feel of a room, they influence the way energy flows through your life. When a color is mismatched, overused, or out of harmony with the natural rhythm of your home, it can create emotional turbulence, mental fatigue, and even blockages in fortune. Let us now explore 7 such colors, each commonly misunderstood, each carrying an energetic weight that may be silently undermining your peace, clarity, and abundance. This is not a call to fear color, but to use it with awareness. When we understand the nature of color, we no longer become subject to its unconscious influence. Number 1. Black, the shadow of stillness. Black, in Feng Shui, is associated with the water element. It represents depth, the unknown, wisdom, and introspection. When used with purpose and balance, black can ground a space, offering mystery and elegance. But when it dominates, especially in personal or family environments, it begins to withdraw more than it gives. Black absorbs energy. It does not reflect light, it pulls it in. And in doing so, it often draws energy out of the people living in the space. In Buddhist psychology, this absorption mirrors the state of sloth and torpor, tina mitta, a mind that is dull, disengaged, and disconnected from the present moment. When surrounded by black, particularly in rooms with little natural light, people report feeling emotionally heavy, spiritually adrift, and prone to depressive moods. Consider a young entrepreneur who once designed his home office in matte black. Inspired by minimalist trends, he believed the color would enhance focus. For a while, it did. But slowly, his sleep suffered. His motivation declined. Even his relationships started to feel distant. It wasn't until he repainted the space using soft earth tones, introduced mirrors to reflect light, and added plants that he felt himself come alive again. Black may offer protection and stillness, but too much stillness becomes stagnation. Life, like water, must move. When the water element overwhelms the balance, the energy of the home becomes a pool with no current, beautiful, perhaps, but lifeless. Remedying an overuse of black doesn't require elimination. Instead, pair black with lighter neutrals, creams, soft grays, whites, or gentle woods. Add elements that stimulate yang energy, warm lighting, dynamic art, or symbols of movement like flowing water or wind. Let black be a backdrop, not the main character. Number 2. Dark green, the forest that never breathes. Green is the color of life, nature, healing, and new beginnings. But when green becomes too dark, too dense, it shifts from being a channel of growth to a weight of stillness. In Feng Shui, green belongs to the wood element, which supports vitality and expansion. Yet dark green, particularly when used in large areas, can create an energetic blockage, much like a forest that is overgrown and never pruned. Psychologically, dark green can anchor us into the past. It resonates with attachment and resistance to change, two key hindrances on the path to clarity. From a Buddhist view, this mirrors the tendency to cling, upadana, to hold on to familiar patterns, roles, or mental constructs that no longer serve us. A home immersed in dark green can feel comforting at first, but quickly becomes inert. Projects stall. Motivation dulls. Creativity feels caged. I recall working with a family who had painted their entire living room in a deep green shade. They hoped it would feel natural and grounding. But over time, the family's communication dwindled. The energy in the room felt heavy, unmoving. When they lightened the tone, added natural light and beige accents, the space opened, and so did their interactions. Dark green, when overused, wraps the space in a form of emotional insulation. It mutes possibility and slows momentum. It doesn't harm overtly, it simply puts life on pause. To rebalance, consider integrating lighter greens, sky tones, or soft yellows. Introduce vertical design elements, tall plants, natural wood structures, or artwork depicting trees and rivers. These gently awaken the wood element's natural desire to reach upward and outward, toward the light. Number 3. Ash gray, the color of silent withdrawal. Gray has become the symbol of modern elegance. Understated, controlled, and calm. But ash gray, particularly in large, flat applications, can create a vibrational void. It is the color of pause, of neither light nor dark, neither warm nor cool. In Feng Shui, it leans toward the metal element, often used to contain or organize. But overused, it begins to constrict. Energetically, gray evokes emotional neutrality that quickly becomes emotional disconnection. In Buddhist terms, it resonates with subtle forms of delusion, moha, the fog of indifference that keeps us from seeing reality clearly. It is not pain or pleasure, it is the absence of both. And that, too, is a form of suffering. One client shared that her gray-themed bedroom helped her sleep initially, but over time, she felt more fatigued upon waking. Her dreams were dull. Her desire to create or even converse declined. We changed nothing dramatic, only swapped the curtains to a creamy beige, placed a soft golden lamp beside the bed, and introduced a landscape painting above the headboard. Within weeks, she said she began to feel human again. Ash gray doesn't need to be removed entirely. But it does need company. Soften its edges with natural textures, linen, wood, woven materials. Add symbolic warmth, a family photo in a wooden frame, a small plant on the table. Let gray be the space between breaths, not the breath itself. Number 4. Bright red, the fire without center. Red is power. In many cultures, red is used for celebration, passion, and divine blessings. But when used too abundantly, especially in interior walls or wide surfaces, red becomes volatile. In Feng Shui, it represents the fire element, energetic, dynamic, transformative. Yet fire without control burns everything it touches. Emotionally, red agitates. It excites the nervous system, increases blood pressure, and can heighten irritability. In Buddhist practice, red relates to the energy of anger, dosa, and restlessness, udaka. While it may energize a dull space, it can just as easily overstimulate, disrupting both rest and harmony. One couple I worked with had decorated their dining and living areas in bold red tones. They said it gave them energy. But over time, meals turned into debates. Sleep became irregular. Their children grew irritable. Once the walls were toned down with earthy creams and terracotta, and red was confined to smaller accents, a rug, a flower vase, a prayer scroll, the tension dissolved. Peace returned. Red's energy is sacred when contained. It symbolizes life force and courage. But it must be placed with intention. Let it live in symbolic forms, an altar cloth, a doorway, a sunrise painting. Allow red to be a whisper of strength, not a scream of pressure. Number 5. Light white, the ghost of perfection. White is clarity. It is space. It is the breath between sounds. But too much white, particularly pure and cold whites, becomes a form of erasure. In Feng Shui, white belongs to the metal element, sharp, structured, and clean. Yet when the entire home is bathed in untempered white, the space begins to feel less like a sanctuary and more like an institution. Spiritually, white may symbolize purity. But in practice, An all-white space often triggers a sense of emotional distance or spiritual bypassing. The idea that peace can be achieved by removing all color, all contrast. In Buddhist psychology, this can mimic the illusion of equanimity, when in truth it is a suppression of emotional nuance. A retired school teacher once told me that after repainting her home in cool whites, she started feeling invisible. Friends stopped staying long. She stopped decorating. "It's clean," she said, "but it doesn't feel alive." When we layered in warm tones, soft woods, earthy rugs, and golden lighting, her home became warm again. And so did her social life. White is best used as a canvas, not the artwork itself. It provides breathing room, but it needs to be animated. Let it host soft golds, greens, creams, or the natural chaos of wooden textures. Let white open the space, but never silence it. Number 6. Dark brown, the earth without light. Brown is grounding. In its lighter forms, it connects us to earth, to security, to home. But when brown becomes too dark, too widespread, it transforms into a psychological weight. In Feng Shui, dark brown belongs to the earth element, meant to nourish and stabilize. But too much creates a sense of being buried, of gravity without grace. Emotionally, it mirrors the weight of inertia. In Buddhism, this resembles spiritual dullness, a clinging to familiarity that blocks insight and growth. One client, a writer, painted his study a deep chocolate brown, hoping to feel grounded. Instead, he reported a heavy fog of fatigue every time he entered the room. We softened the space with light tan accents, reflective surfaces, and gentle lighting. Slowly, creativity returned. Dark brown can support stability, but it must be balanced with movement. Bring in lighter earth tones, flowing patterns, and the soft vitality of natural materials. The earth is not just ground, it is also garden. Let brown remind you of life, not burial. Number 7. Dark blue, the ocean without sky. Blue is calm, wisdom, and insight. But when it turns too dark, too dominant, especially in enclosed spaces, it takes on the energy of sorrow. Dark blue, in Feng Shui, belongs to the water element. It aids concentration, reflection, and inner depth. But without balancing warmth or contrast, it pulls the mind into the deeper layers of emotion, melancholy, nostalgia, or withdrawal. In Buddhist psychology, this resembles the state of aversion, not outward, but inward. A turning away from experience into the caves of memory and longing. A therapist once told me her navy blue office made her feel more professional. Yet her clients described the space as heavy and sad. After changing just one wall to sky blue and introducing gold-trimmed lighting, the mood changed. Dark blue is not to be feared. But it must be lifted. Pair it with soft yellows, warm woods, or symbols of sunlight. Use it as a portal to peace, not as a well with no rope. In the end, no color is inherently unlucky. But color, like sound, light, or thought, is vibration. And vibration shapes mood, energy, and karma. To choose color with awareness is to choose your state of mind. And from that mind, your life flows. In part 4, we'll explore the color frequencies that uplift, awaken, and bless, a sacred palette for peace and prosperity. Part 4, the 5 sacred color frequencies that attract peace, wealth, and mental clarity. Before we speak of luck or fortune, we must return to the heart. In Buddhist practice, particularly within the insight tradition of Vipassana meditation, the world is not experienced in abstract ideas or decoration, it is experienced as sensation. Form, sound, smell, taste, touch, all of it arises and passes as contact. And with every contact, there is a feeling tone, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Color is no exception. It is not just visual. It is energetic contact. From a meditative lens, every color gently vibrates in the field of perception. Some colors stimulate the mind, others calm it. Some invoke contraction, restlessness, desire, resistance, while others create spaciousness and clarity. In long meditation retreats, great care is taken to choose wall colors, robes, mats, and surroundings that support tranquility. Not because meditators are sensitive, but because they are aware. The same awareness can be brought into the home. When we view our space through the lens of Dharma, the home is not a set of objects, it is a field of feeling. A place to rest the body, yes, but more deeply, a place to support the development of skillful qualities of mind, generosity, contentment, mindfulness, and wisdom. In this part, we explore 5 colors that, through both energetic balance and ethical resonance, can nourish the wholesome roots of the heart. Each of these colors harmonizes with one of the 5 elements in Feng Shui, while also connecting with one of the 4 immeasurables in Buddhism: loving-kindness, metta, compassion, karuna, appreciative joy, mudita, and equanimity, upekkha. Light yellow, the color of loving-kindness. In Feng Shui, light yellow is associated with the earth element. It brings warmth, stability, and nourishment. But beyond its practical effects, light yellow resonates deeply with the energy of loving-kindness, metta. Loving-kindness is the quality of the open heart, wishing well-being for oneself and others. Light yellow carries this quality into space. It gently warms a room without overwhelming it. It invites presence, but never demands. It is the color of morning light through a curtain, or the gentle smile of a beloved elder. Psychologically, yellow stimulates optimism, clarity, and confidence. But in its softer tones, it also soothes. It makes space feel welcoming, which fosters connection. For families or individuals recovering from stress or emotional distance, light yellow restores emotional resonance. Meditatively, it uplifts without distraction. It supports alertness without tension. A practitioner sitting in a room bathed in light yellow is more likely to remain gently present, neither dull nor agitated. In application, light yellow is ideal for social spaces, living rooms, dining areas, creative studios. It's also excellent near entryways, as it greets those who enter with the silent wish, "May you be well." Aqua Blue, the color of compassion. Aqua Blue rests between green and blue, carrying the serenity of water with the vitality of growth. In Feng Shui, it is a water element tone, fluid, adaptable, cleansing. But spiritually, it connects with compassion, karuna. Compassion sees suffering and responds with care. Aqua Blue supports this by softening the nervous system. It is the color of clear skies reflected in still waters, a mirror to emotional truth. Rooms painted in aqua blue or infused with it through textiles often feel emotionally safe. They support intimacy without pressure, honesty without fear. In meditation halls, aqua tones are sometimes used in quiet walking areas or near water features. Why? Because they encourage flow. They hold space for pain to emerge gently and be released. In family settings, this color nurtures calm communication. In workspaces, it prevents burnout. For those recovering from emotional trauma, it is especially healing. Energetically, aqua blue slows reactivity and deepens breath. A compassionate mind needs spaciousness to respond rather than react. Aqua blue gives that space. Light brown, the color of appreciative joy. In the Dharma, joy is not clinging or excitement, it is the quiet appreciation of goodness, the open-hearted celebration of life's blessings. Mudita, or sympathetic joy, is the quality of rejoicing in others' happiness. Light brown grounds this feeling. As a Feng Shui earth element tone, light brown brings reliability, trust, and calm. Psychologically, it represents honesty, simplicity, and connection to the real. In a world dominated by artificial brightness and performance, light brown restores the organic. Light brown surfaces, wood grain, natural fiber, clay, remind us of the beauty in what is unpolished. They help us see joy not just in big achievements, but in daily rituals, a cup of tea, a warm blanket, a conversation. In meditation, light brown supports contentment. It grounds attention in the body and breath. It lowers the mental frequency to a more sustainable rhythm. In practice, light brown is best used in bedrooms, kitchens, and places of daily rest. It helps a household slow down, reflect, and enjoy the moment. Beige yellow, the color of equanimity. Equanimity, or upekkha, is the balanced mind, the ability to remain steady through gain and loss, praise and blame, pleasure and pain. Beige yellow, blending warmth with neutrality, expresses this balance in form. Feng Shui considers beige yellow part of the earth family, offering support, groundedness, and subtle brightness. Unlike bold yellows, it doesn't stir the senses, it soothes them. It creates a space of quiet dignity. This color is especially helpful in transitional spaces, hallways, meditation corners, reading nooks. It holds energy without dominating it. It reminds us that peace isn't found in control, but in acceptance. From a meditative perspective, beige yellow allows the mind to settle without becoming sleepy. It neither provokes nor suppresses. It is the background of insight. In family life, beige yellow supports gentle speech, forgiveness, and patience. It invites neutrality, but not numbness. It encourages us to stay, fully, with what is. Cream white, the color of spiritual presence. Unlike stark white, which can feel sterile or distant, cream white carries softness. It's the color of openness tempered with care. In Feng Shui, cream white belongs to the metal element, representing purity and focus, but with warmth. Spiritually, cream white is space. Not emptiness, but room to become. It supports mindfulness, clarity, and spiritual aspiration. It is often used in Dharma halls and monasteries, not as a symbol of absence, but as an invitation to presence. Cream white enhances natural light without glare. It provides contrast for wooden elements, sacred art, or nature-based designs. It's the ideal canvas for a life of practice. In meditation, this color helps the mind remain alert, open, and gently focused. It reduces distraction while uplifting attention. In homes, cream white is suited for quiet spaces, study rooms, altars, or any area devoted to reflection. It reminds us of our potential to awaken. To live in a space aligned with the Dharma is not about perfection. It is about intention. These 5 colors, light yellow, aqua blue, light brown, beige yellow, and cream white, offer more than harmony. They offer support for the inner journey. Used with awareness, they can shape the energetic climate of your home. More importantly, they can nourish the inner qualities that make a life truly prosperous: kindness, compassion, joy, balance, and clarity. In Part 5, we'll explore how to apply these colors practically, depending on your home's orientation, your own energetic constitution, and the specific challenges you may be facing in health, wealth, or relationship. Part 5. Practical color applications. Choosing the right colors for your home's direction and energy. Harmony begins with awareness, but it matures through action. Once we understand the energetic and spiritual weight of color, the next step is practical. How do we choose the right colors for our unique home, our personal nature, and the karmic unfolding of our lives? This is where the ancient sciences of Feng Shui and the Buddhist path of wisdom meet in real space. In this part, we explore how to apply the teachings of color in your home, based not on rigid formulas, but on attuned observation, compassionate intention, and individualized energy patterns. Let's begin with orientation, the direction your home faces. North-facing homes, embracing flow and calm. North is the direction of the water element in Feng Shui. It represents flow, adaptability, and depth. These homes often benefit from color palettes that support movement while softening excessive coolness. Recommended tones: aqua blue, light blue, cream white, to enhance water's clarity and flow. Accents of light yellow or beige to warm the environment. Avoid excessive black or dark blue, can overstimulate water and lead to emotional detachment or stagnation. Spiritually, those in north-facing homes often benefit from colors that stabilize the flow of energy without hardening it. Choose colors that invite clarity while encouraging emotional balance. South-facing homes, balancing fire and stability. South corresponds with the fire element. It brings visibility, passion, and transformation. However, it can also create overheating, emotionally and energetically, if not balanced. Recommended tones: light brown, beige yellow, soft cream, to ground and temper excess fire. Earthy tones that absorb and stabilize heat. Avoid overuse of bright red or harsh yellows, may amplify restlessness or conflict. In Dharma terms, fire can fuel both insight and ego. The goal is to ground intensity through simplicity. Choose colors that calm the mind without suppressing its brightness. East-facing homes, awakening growth. East is aligned with the wood element, symbolizing growth, health, and new beginnings. These homes benefit from palettes that support movement and vitality without excess stimulation. Recommended tones: light green, aqua blue, soft beige. Accents of light yellow for energy and joy. Avoid heavy earth tones or dark greens, may suppress wood's upward motion. For practitioners, the east is the direction of dawn. It's where clarity arises. Let your space support gentle ambition, colors that move you forward with compassion. West-facing homes, cultivating reflection and closure. West aligns with the metal element, order, clarity, and the wisdom of endings. It's the direction of maturity, evaluation, and inner listening. Recommended tones: cream white, soft grays, muted golds. Earth tones to stabilize metal's sharpness. Avoid overuse of dark grays or cold whites, may lead to emotional distance. Spiritually, west-facing homes benefit from calm tones that encourage reflection. This is a place for closure, integration, and rest. Select colors that invite gratitude and emotional presence. Center-facing or multi-directional homes, cultivating balance. Some homes do not lean strongly in one cardinal direction. In such cases, the earth element becomes central. Recommended tones: light brown, beige, warm cream, pale yellow. Accents from other directions as needed based on room function. Avoid extremes in color. Balance and harmony take precedence over boldness. A centered home calls for centered living. Colors should support all four immeasurables: loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. These homes often benefit from neutrality paired with intentional accents. Matching colors to personal elemental constitution. In Chinese metaphysics, each individual is also governed by a primary element, wood, fire, earth, metal, or water, based on birth date and Ba-Zi chart. While we will not calculate those here, a simplified approach can still help. Wood-type people, creative, idealistic, benefit from greens, blues, and earth tones. Fire-type people, passionate, expressive, benefit from calming tones, soft creams, light brown. Earth-type people, stable, nurturing, benefit from clarity tones, light yellow, beige, and green. Metal-type people, organized, disciplined, benefit from warm tones, soft gold, cream white. Water-type people, sensitive, intuitive, benefit from grounding colors, light brown, warm beige. This is not prescriptive. Always observe how a color makes you feel. In meditation, note your body's response to color. Does it open or contract? Uplift or unsettle? Consider life context, karma, timing, and needs. Finally, color selection should reflect not just external alignment, but inner readiness. If you are grieving, use softer tones that soothe. If you are stepping into leadership, use tones that support clarity and confidence. If you are building family harmony, invite warmth and joy through earth tones. Colors can support karma, but cannot override it. Use them to harmonize your present condition, not to escape it. In the next and final part, we will explore how to make gentle transitions in color, without needing full renovations, and how to maintain the energetic and spiritual integrity of your space through regular awareness and intention. Part 6. Real-life stories, when color changed everything. Spiritual teachings become truly alive when they are lived, not just learned. While principles of color, energy, and harmony offer a foundation, it is in real human stories that we see their power, quietly transforming relationships, careers, and emotional well-being. In this part, we focus on 2 real-world transformations, cases where color didn't just change walls, it helped shift consciousness. Story 1. The Burned-Out Entrepreneur and the Return to Breath. Ethan had built a successful tech startup and was known for his sharp thinking and long hours. His home office reflected his brand, painted in deep gray with bold black furnishings. It was sleek, modern, and increasingly oppressive. Over time, Ethan noticed something unsettling. Each morning, he felt resistance entering the room. He began waking with a tight chest, foggy thoughts, and a strange sense of heaviness. Deadlines dragged. Phone calls left him drained. His therapist asked him to describe his work environment, and as he spoke, he paused. "It feels like a cave," he said. Instead of pushing through, he decided to approach the issue as an experiment in energy. With guidance from a meditation teacher familiar with environmental psychology, he made changes, not drastic, but deliberate. The walls were repainted to a warm, creamy beige. A pale aqua art piece replaced the black and white poster behind his desk. He introduced a soft floor lamp that cast a golden hue and placed a single plant near the window. The shift was immediate, not just in light, but in breath. Within days, Ethan felt his chest loosen. His mind became clearer. Productivity returned, not through effort, but ease. "I had thought I needed more discipline," he later said. "But I needed softness. The room didn't just change my mood, it gave me back my breath." Story 2. The couple who thought their marriage was over. Anna and Marcus had been together for over a decade, but recently, They felt like strangers in the same house. Their conversations had dwindled. Intimacy faded. What remained was a cold efficiency, schedules, bills, routines. Their home mirrored that energy. Designed by a luxury architect, it was filled with clean white walls, polished concrete floors, and sleek gray decor. It was visually stunning, and emotionally barren. During a weekend meditation retreat, Anna heard a teacher speak about how our homes are not just places we live in, but extensions of our relational energy. That night, she wrote in her journal, "Our house is beautiful, but it doesn't hold us." When she returned home, she gently suggested small changes to Marcus, not to fix the marriage, but to soften the space. They began by introducing natural wood textures in the dining area. They added beige and light brown cushions to the couch. Most significantly, they hung a painting of a sunrise in warm tones over the living room wall. There was no dramatic moment of reconciliation. Just a slow return. Conversations became easier. They started cooking together again. Laughter found its way back in. "The house feels like it's listening now," Anna said. "Not judging. Not pushing us away." Marcus agreed. "It's not just a home anymore. It's a space where love can return." Real change doesn't always start with big gestures. Sometimes it begins with color, softly adjusting the vibrations of a space so that the people inside it can breathe, speak, and feel again. In our final part, we'll explore how to maintain that sense of harmony over time, through small rituals and everyday awareness. Part 7, Final Reflection. Your home is a reflection of your mind. Pause for a moment. Look around you. This space, your walls, your light, your colors, this is not separate from you. It is not just where you live. It is where your thoughts rise, where your emotions land, where your karma unfolds. In the teachings of the Buddha, we are reminded again and again. With our thoughts, we make the world. And just as the world is shaped by mind, so too is the home. And then, subtly, quietly, the home shapes the mind in return. The colors you choose are not just design choices. They are emotional climates. They are invitations. They are reflections of your inner state. When we fill our home with agitation, our mind stirs. When we surround ourselves with numbness, our heart withdraws. But when we create harmony, when each room breathes with balance, softness, and space, our mind remembers how to rest, how to trust, how to return. This is not just Feng Shui. This is Dharma in daily life. To live with awareness is to know, every object, every shade, every feeling in our space is a chance to cultivate presence. To remember what matters. To choose peace. So today, perhaps, is not about repainting everything. Perhaps it is simply about asking, what color does my heart long for now? What tone would support the life I am ready to live? What would it mean for my home to reflect not the person I used to be, but the one I am becoming? A home aligned with peace is not one that follows trends. It is one that follows truth. And a peaceful mind will create peaceful conditions. When the home becomes a sanctuary, the heart becomes receptive. And when the heart is receptive, karma softens. Life flows. Let your colors be compassionate. Let your choices be gentle. Let your space support your path, not as a goal, but as a practice. And if you feel inspired, if something stirred in you as you listened, I invite you to pause and reflect. What color might you let go of? What color might you welcome? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us, what color are you considering? What shift are you ready to invite? And if this video brought you insight or peace, please consider supporting this channel. Like, subscribe, and share it with someone who may be on their own path of healing. Each gesture of support helps us continue offering teachings that nourish the spirit and honor the Dharma. Thank you for walking this journey with us today. May your path be clear, your heart be light, and may your home be a place where your mind may rest and your heart may take refuge. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, be well, live gently, and stay true to your path.